Amtrak, America's national passenger railroad. It's been over 3 years since I last rode with Amtrak, but that all changes today as I travel on board the legendary City of New Orleans train from Chicago to Champaign. Sadly, not all the way to New Orleans. Like the rest of the travel industry, Amtrak was hit very hard by the pandemic, which resulted in large furloughs of staff and a resulting shortage of operable equipment. Just like the airline industry, Amtrak still hasn't fully recovered in time for the huge travel surge this summer. Unfortunately, this issue was glaringly present and caused some slight setbacks in my experience today. Regardless, I've always loved traveling by train, and I hope you'll enjoy this quick review on Amtrak's coach class product between Chicago and Champaign. After a jam-packed day attending the airliner's international convention, I took the CTA Blue Line train from Rosemont to Clinton Street in downtown Chicago. Clinton is the closest CTA subway stop to Union Station, and it's only about a 5-minute walk between the two stations. Chicago Union Station is, needless to say, one of the most iconic buildings in the entire city. The station opened up back in 1925 and is the fourth busiest rail terminal in the United States, the busiest, in fact, outside of New York City. Amtrak and Chicago's commuter rail system, Metra, both have sizable operations from Union Station. In fact, from here you can take Amtrak to just about any part of the country, with the southeastern United States being the only notable exception. Tonight I'm on board Train 59, the southbound City of New Orleans. This train at the moment is only running 5 times per week as opposed to daily service it used to provide pre-pandemic. The total travel time from Chicago to New Orleans is a little over 19 hours. However, I'm only on board for the first 2 hours until Champaign. Amtrak recommends that you arrive at any station around 30 minutes before your train, maybe even less for the smaller stations. Union Station itself is alright as far as train stations go. There's a decent list of food options and convenience stores available. However, the main issue I have with Union Station is Amtrak's waiting area. It's literally just one big room, and while there are signs designating what train departs from which gate, no one really pays attention to that. Tonight's train was completely full departing Chicago, and the crowd of passengers spilled out across the entire room. To make matters worse, we were delayed around an hour or so departing Chicago because the train wasn't placed on the track in time. Now, this I can sympathize with since I understand Amtrak is dealing with a huge staff and equipment shortage, as is much of the travel industry. The equipment shortage is especially noticeable on tonight's train. All passengers heading to Champaign are assigned to the last car. The car we've been assigned isn't even supposed to be on this train. As you can see, it's wrapped in a special livery for Amtrak's Winter Park Express ski train, which runs between Denver and Winter Park, Colorado. The City of New Orleans, like many of Amtrak's long-distance trains, utilizes the double-decker Superliner cars. The train normally consists of 7 cars, including sleeper cars, a diner, lounge car, and coach class cars. I, of course, booked a coach ticket for this short journey for a very reasonable $17. Unfortunately, what I received wasn't exactly what I had booked. As you can see by my ticket, I booked a lower-level coach seat, as the Superliner lower-level compartments are smaller and thus more private. Unfortunately, the car we were assigned today didn't even have a lower-level section. More on that later. So therefore, I had no other choice than to sit on the upper level with everyone else. While it was disappointing that I didn't get what I had booked, again, I do understand that most of the travel industry, Amtrak included, is struggling to meet the huge travel surge this summer, so I really couldn't be too mad. Now, I'm taking this exact same train again next month, and once again I booked a lower level coach seat. Let's hope I actually get it this time. Amtrak coach class is almost always a very affordable way to travel, and even more so on short routes. In fact, the ticket is normally $14 one way between Chicago and Champaign, but because I booked this ticket just 2 days prior, the price jumped up to $17. I was very tempted to book one of the sleeper roomettes or bedrooms, but as expected, they were quite expensive. Even for this short 2-hour journey, the cheapest roomette was $172, 10 times the price of my coach ticket. Amtrak coach class is laid out in a 2x2 configuration, and today's coach features the older cloth-style seats, which are soon to be replaced by leather seats. Regardless, the coach seats are super comfortable, featuring a footrest and more legroom than even most airline first-class products. Each pair of seats also comes with 2 power outlets. However, unfortunately, these Superliner cars do not feature Wi-Fi. The seats also come with large extendable tray tables, however mine was a little tough to handle. The seats have very generous recline as well, although the controls at my seat unfortunately seemed to be broken. That shouldn't come as a surprise though, considering these Superliner cars, believe it or not, are between 30 and 40 years old. This particular car was built all the way back in 1980.
Exit strategies, windows, and doors. We do not anticipate anything to happen, but in the event that it does, you can move safely from one car to the next.
About 20 minutes after departure, I decided to make a quick trip to the cafe to buy some dinner, as I hadn't eaten a proper meal all day. As I mentioned earlier, I, along with everyone else going to Champaign, were assigned the last car of the train. The cafe on tonight's train was located in the lower level of the lounge car, which was 2 cars ahead. Out of the 7 cars on this train, the first 2 are sleeper cars, followed by a diner car, the lounge car, and then the 3 coach cars. Of course, because it's pitch black outside, there's no reason to be in the lounge car. However, in the daytime, you can get great panoramic views of the passing landscape by sitting in this car. There was quite a long line for the cafe, and it was a good 10 or so minutes before I was able to go downstairs to order my food. The cafe has a decent selection of snacks, drinks, and some hot food at reasonable prices. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is one of 2 cafes on the train. There's this one in the lower level of the observation lounge car, and I'm pretty sure the other one is in the diner car next door, where it's half cafe, half restaurant. But the restaurant, I think, is just for sleeper passengers. At least, that's how it was the last time I took this train, but for some reason, I didn't bother to check on this trip. While in the cafe, I missed out on filming our first stop of Homewood, Illinois. Nothing special though. We arrived in Homewood and departed after about 2 minutes. For dinner tonight, I bought myself one of the small DiGiorno cheese pizzas and a veggie tamale. The pizza was pretty good, however the tamale was kind of bland and not something I'd buy again. But then again, it was nice to try something new. Before returning to my seat, here's a look at the lower level of my coach car. Now, the reason why I didn't get my lower level seat tonight is because what would normally be the lower level coach compartment is instead a baggage compartment, meaning this is indeed a coach baggage car. Also on the lower level are some extra baggage racks and, of course, the bathrooms. Amtrak bathrooms are usually a hit or a miss, and as you can see on this train, well, it's definitely seen better days. Let's just say I'm glad I'm only on board for just 2 hours. After departing Kankakee, the city of New Orleans runs non-stop for the next hour or so down to Champaign. There are stations in Gilman and Rantoul, however only the corridor trains that run on this route stop in those towns. I actually fell asleep right after departing Kankakee and was woken up about 15 minutes before arriving in Champaign by a phone call from my dad. So to conclude, for the price you pay, I would definitely say Amtrak has a very, very good coach class product. Even though food isn't included, you still get a very comfortable seat with adequate space for yourself and your belongings. Tonight's Amtrak experience didn't go totally as planned, but these hiccups are expected, especially in times like right now. I can't wait for my next Amtrak trip that's coming up soon, but until then, here we are arriving in Champaign. After disembarking, I quickly drove a few miles south of Champaign to catch our train pass by. Here's a final clip of our train speeding by south of Champaign to end this video. Alright, so here comes the train we just got off of. Amtrak 59 City of New Orleans headed southbound. Let's see which engine was leading, because I don't know which engine this is. And that's the coach, that last coach. We were in that. And that brings an end to this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. There goes our train south to eventually New Orleans. Thanks for watching, everybody.